All right, welcome back to the Faith Perspective. Today, as promised, I'm talking to Precious Mukwela, and we're going to hear about her story and how easy it is for her to be a Christian in our day and age as a young lady. So, Precious, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time
Thank you for
to,
having me.
yeah, just talk about. Now, let's go back briefly. You are a Christian.
Yes, I
I'm,
am.
I'm, I'm assuming. So, how did you become a Christian?
I became a Christian in 2017. My family
Just
had
recently.
yes, my family had just moved to Lusaka, and I started high school here. And I encountered my first Christian personally. She talked different, thought different, and everything about her was basically just different. She never verbally shared the gospel with me, but watching her life as a Christian and comparing it to mine, it showed me that I really needed what she had. My life was empty. I rarely thought of God. I knew nothing about Christianity, but seeing her life, I knew that what separated me from God was my sin. And so I repented and asked Jesus to be the Lord of my life.
So you mentioned something very important, like she never shared the gospel to you verbally, but then just looking at how she lived, that moved you towards Christianity. So are you saying that it is important to live out your Christian faith more than you talk about it?
No, I think both are equally important. Um, in that Jesus has commanded us to share our testimony about Him, His coming into the world and salvation. But it's equally important to walk out your Christian faith because people are watching you. But ultimately, it's to the glory of God. He commands you to walk in that way as well.
Yeah, there's somebody who said that the living out your Christian faith is the fifth gospel. Because there are four gospels in the Bible, and then you can preach the you can be the fifth gospel just by the way you live, and others can actually come to Christ just seeing
That's true.
you live out your
That's
Christian faith.
true.
But then it's the one interesting thing that I find nowadays is that it's very difficult for young people to to sort of subscribe to the Christian faith, of course, due to many reasons. There are others that find it boring. There are others that have a lot of questions about the faith, all in all. But how easy or difficult is it for you? Like, considering the fact that you are in college, you're also interacting with people from different faiths, you are also interacting also among your friends, there might be some that are not really Christians. So how easy is it for you, or how hard is it for you to like live out your Christian faith?
Okay. Um, I would say it's easier when you have a group of believers, friends who are believers, who encourage you and steer you in the right path around you. But I like that you mentioned that you meet people with different faith. And there are some faiths out there that look like the truth. Like it's very close to the truth. They are
Yeah.
devoted.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've personally experienced like questioning my faith because it comes without a doubt that Christianity has some concepts that do not appeal to logic.
Yeah, they are very difficult to understand.
And so you're in college, everybody's an intellectual.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, how can your God be three,
And yet one.
and you're saying you're monotheism.
Yeah.
So it's difficult in that sense. I wouldn't say much on the lifestyle by the grace of God.
Yeah.
The worldly lifestyle is not very appealing to me by the grace of God alone. But I think I've personally struggled the most with when we're having intellectual conversations about
Yes.
the faith.
So do you think like it's important even for for young people in our day and age to get interested in apologetics, to get interested in finding out what other faiths hold to, so that they can be able to respond to it?
Yes, I think it's very important. It's because most of the time, our ignorance makes it look like, oh, other people would conclude, you see, it's a false religion. But
Just because you can't make sense
yes,
of it.
but God has provided us with all the resources. We have the Bible. The Bible has everything. Sometimes I get surprised reading things in there that I fail to respond to. So read your Bible. And He's also gifted us with many people who are intellectuals, who have looked at the faith from an intellectual perspective. So I think if we make use of those resources, we'd be able to answer.
All right. So let's talk about sharing your faith. How easy is it for you, like, to share your faith, considering some of what you've just talked about could be like a hindrance, but I know, like, but how easy is it, and what are some of the ways you use to, like, share your faith with others?
I think sharing our faith, I once heard from like John Piper. He once said that people naturally talk about the things that they love or praise the things that they love. For example, nobody has to force you to praise your favorite footballer or anything like that. So I feel like it's the same thing with our faith. If we treasure Christ more than anything else, it's not so hard to bring him up in a conversation. It doesn't have to be something serious, like you sit people down and say, oh, I'm sharing the gospel now. You could easily bring it up in conversations. People are going through a lot, anxieties and different things like that. But
So you take advantage of those situations?
Yes, I mean, any situation that leads to, people have a lot of questions about themselves and they are found in God. So anything that leads to having a deep and meaningful conversation is a good time to bring
share.
up God.
So do you have like any tools in your arsenal, apart from the Bible, of course, like some strategies?
Yes, I've undergone discipleship. So we had a few evangelism classes where we're taught like sharing the bridge diagram or the Romans road to salvation. Things that you can use like to illustrate like the whole story of the Bible in just a few minutes. And also I think your testimony is also a good tool to share your faith.
Because it's like if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at me, and then I'm a living testimony of everything that I've told you. So that's like the lifestyle. So who are some of your role models?
Some of my role models, I would say most of the missionaries, especially the ones with the dramatic stories like the martyrs. I don't know if I would have the same courage to live out my faith like that, but it encourages me. And I would also say my grandmother, because she's mostly who I heard talk about God in my family.